Hey boo, my name is Kira, and on this side of town, we talk about all things travel, budget traveling to be exact. So if that's something that you're interested in, why don't you consider subscribing? I promise you gonna get the tea with me. Oh Lord, where do I begin? Where do I begin? I'm actually excited to be sharing my incredible journey to Peru. A journey, it definitely was. I want to start by saying that this was actually an impromptu trip. A friend of mine had already had the ball rolling with this particular trip. And I kind of always wanted to visit Peru. I wasn't expecting to do so this soon though. And when she extended the invitation, I was like, I was back and forth teetering, especially after seeing those prices. But I said, you know what the heck? And that's gonna lead me on down to flights. I traveled to Peru in July. July is dry season, so the prices of the flights there will reflect that. This is the perfect time to go to Machu Picchu and any of those great, wonderful sites that Peru is known for, because you will avoid the rain. While doing my homework, I realized quickly that this is not about to be no $200, $300 round trip ticket flight. Not in July. I felt like the smartest thing to do was to look at my Chase travel portal to see if I can get a better rate. And because I had points, I was actually able to. I think my flight round trip was about $300 and something if I'm not mistaken. I did notice that I would not be able to fly out of FLL airport, which I really hate. Because if you know, Miami airport. And I could either fly with Delta or LATAM. I do have a dedicated LATAM review about my airline experience. If you'd like to see that, I'll make sure I pin it up here. So I flew in from Miami to Lima, Peru. And then from Lima, Peru, I flew to Cusco, which is where you're gonna wanna go if you're trying to see the sacred valleys, Machu Picchu, and so forth. And then we ended our trip returning a few days in Lima, Peru. And so not only did I have to book a flight from Miami to Lima, I had to also book a flight from Lima to Cusco. That flight was very inexpensive. You know, the domestic flights are always cheaper than an international flight, of course. I flew with JetFly or JetSmart. I think that's what it was called. It was giving Spirit. Okay, but I'm not against Spirit. If you know, you know. We budget friendly around here, so I have nothing against Spirit, but there was damn bit of extra bells and whistles with that particular airline, and I'm still planning to do a dedicated review for that airline experience as well. The flight was well over about 5 hours. My flight left at about 12 midnight, so I went to the airport around 10. This didn't happen to my homegirl, but it damn sure happened to me. Don't get swindled. Okay, those people at them airports that's acting like they're there to help you and assist you, and they just want to do it out of the kindness of their heart, honey. They want a coin. They want a tip. When I arrived in Lima, I was a little confused. This was my very first time taking 2 flights, stopping, getting off, and then getting onto another plane. I've never done that. Normally, my flights are always one way there and one way back. I was kind of like looking all over the place. I guess I was an easy target because I was a little confused. I was trying to figure out where should I go next for my next flight. I had a few hours in between, so make sure you have some hours in between because that line be lining. And the guy, he ended up seeing me and he said, hey, how can I help you? You know, he had on his uniform like he worked in the airport. So I'm like, okay, well, this is damn job. He came, he grabbing my bag. We walking on down together. And then when we get to the point of where to go, he's like, okay, my tip. This man actually asked me. It was giving, Home Alone, where he was standing at the door and he was like this. And then he gave him some gum. And then the next time, he was trying to give him some money, but he thought he was going to give him some gum. You know what I'm talking about, girl. Home Alone is my favorite movie. But I appreciated the help, don't get me wrong. But damn, I just arrived to Peru. Can I take in the ambiance for a second? Besides being surprised about the gentleman approaching me and wanting a tip, I was struck by the weather. Okay, so let's move on along to the weather. When I booked the trip, I did not take into consideration at all, let me check the weather for this place. I literally just assumed that their weather was going to be summering like Florida was. Lo and behold, that wasn't the case to us. As we started getting closer and closer to the date, our travel guide mentioned to us in a group chat that make sure we pack warm clothes, make sure we have this layers and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I did not sign up to visit New York in winter. What do you mean layers and jackets and all of these different things, coats and he was like, oh yeah, it's pretty cold. But when I got there, and I'm talking about Cusco, because yeah, while Lima, the temperature I did feel a little temperature change for sure. Cusco was just a whole different damn ball game, okay? It was 30s. If you really know me, you know I do not care for cold weather. Winter is my least favorite season. I hate even living in Florida when the temperature actually drop and be cold as hell, because that ain't why I'm living in Florida. I believe their winter season run from June to October, if I'm not mistaken. This time of the year was actually the coldest in Peru, what we were told from our Airbnb host and the taxi drivers and so forth. I literally went to bed cold in Cusco and woke up cold. Thank God our Airbnb host had heaters for us, but girl, I'm not used to that. And it's no central air. You gotta drag that heater everywhere you damn go, honey, even in the damn bathroom, unless you want to be cold. I didn't even want to take a damn shower. I know that may sound funky as hell. I didn't even want to take no shower because I don't like to be cold. And getting naked gonna make me even colder. Lima, on the other hand, was a little milder in temperature. It was about 40, between 40, I believe, and 60 degrees. The crazy thing is, despite it being so cold, this is actually considered their dry season. I would think that rain is associated with making things cold. At least that's how it goes for here. Like in Florida, once it rains for a weekend, it's like, okay, you better go ahead and expect this next Monday gonna be a little chilly, because we had a whole lot of rain over the weekend. So, you know, it's kind of like a little backwards from the usual that I know. If you feel like I feel about the coldness, this is not the time of the year for you to travel there. But I'm told that this is the best time to travel, especially if you're looking to be very adventurous. What to wear in Peru? That's what really, like, for the life of me, I was so confused. I'm already one of those ones who can't figure it out anyway when it comes to trying to pick out my clothes. So can you imagine trying to figure out stuff for winter? Like, what? What am I doing here? What am I doing here? I was trying not to be a party pooper before I even went, but I just know how I am about cold weather. Long story short, to summarize everything in July, visiting Peru, it's all about layers. I personally recommend you taking ponchos, athletic sets. I did a lot of that, like 2-piece sets, leggings, even get the thermal ones if you can get your hands on them. Pants, jeans, long sleeves. I went on Amazon and I ordered like this set that came with the scarf, the mittens, head. What is it? What the hell type hat is it called? It's a word for it. That just goes to show that I don't know about winter items. Mittens, hats, scarves, long sleeves. You're gonna need comfy shoes, sneakers. You're gonna be doing a whole lot of walking, baby. You definitely gonna need some sneakers on there. I even got some socks that was like thermal. Thank God I booked with the airlines where I could be able to do a carry-on and a personal, because ain't no way. I did notice though, when it comes to Cusco, when the sun sets, that's when it gets really chilly. So more so in the afternoons and the evenings, layering up is going to be your best bet for sure. The funny thing is though, when my friend went to Machu Picchu, she said that the sun was sunning and the weather was weathering. It was not cold. That's crazy, right? But we'll get to that. Now let's carry on over to the altitude experience. Woo, Lord. Now I did see a lot of people talking about the altitude. I did see that. I thought I would be just fine because I've been to Denver and I've been in the mountains and I have experienced the altitude change. I experienced the headaches and, you know, the lightheadedness. You know what you get when you get in the mountains at times. So I feel like, okay, well, I know how to kind of combat that. I know how to kind of handle it or whatever, or at least my body has experienced it before. But baby, okay, in my Louisiana voice, nobody would have prepared me or could have prepared me for the experience of the altitude change. I mean, literally on the plane, I started feeling different. When I got off, I started feeling different. Every step, it was like a damn dog. Cusco is at a much higher altitude compared to Lima, which is at sea level. I just was not prepared for the intensity of the altitude. I experienced headaches, tiredness, shortness of breath, and dizziness. I remember getting up and just almost damn near falling on the floor. I'm like, what the whole hell? Just getting up out of my seat and about to fall. One recommendation is making sure that you arrive earlier to give yourself a few times to acclimate to the altitude. To manage these symptoms, I took a whole lot of electrolyte packets with me. I stayed hydrated, baby. You're gonna have to keep that water on deck. Make sure you're traveling with some type of form of water bottle. I took altitude medication. My homegirl came with all the pills, shy. The Airbnb host provided us with the tea. We did hear a lot about the tea. What kind of leaves were they? Cocoa tea and cocoa leaves. They had cocoa candies and all these different things. And that is supposed to help with that. I even went as far when I realized that the altitude was so extreme just off people's reviews, getting a electrolyte packet or like a hydration packet. I don't know what it's called, but basically it has like a packet that's filled up with all the vitamins and all of these different things. And I just went in there and let them know, like an IV drip. And I told them I'll be traveling, so give me something for vitamin C. I don't want to bring nothing back that I ain't go with. And I'm going to Peru. And the guy actually visited to Peru before, and he was like, oh, hell yeah. So he knew exactly what to do. He even gave me some pointers. He said to take aspirin. He was telling me exactly what to do as well prior to going. You definitely have to prep yourself, not just for Machu Picchu, but also for that damn altitude, because it may not necessarily bother you, but you don't want to go and underestimate not a damn thing, because baby, it will knock you off your feet. When I would wake up in the morning, I would drink tea. When I would go to bed at night, I would drink tea. You don't want to overly do it either. I was told that. But she had one for morning, one for night. Girl, it was a challenge. It was a challenge. I remember one day I was like, to hell with that damn excursion. Like, I literally wanted to be like, I don't give a damn about going. I was okay with missing out, and I wouldn't be able to get no refund. Like, I didn't even want to get out of bed. Cold and the feeling of the altitude change. Speaking of my Airbnb host, she was lovely. I'm going to make sure I leave her contact information down below, because baby, one thing about me, I love to put somebody on, especially when I have a wonderful experience. I'm even going to leave below taxi drivers' informations and things like that that really took great care of us and was really nice. And that's what we did a lot of. They do have Uber there, not Lyft. They do have taxi services, the buses. We did a whole lot of Ubering. Or we would walk. Our room in Cusco was kind of like an apartment style setup. It was really, really nice, very spacious. We had our own separate bedrooms. We had our own separate bathrooms. So I love that. We had a view of balconies. The views was very nice. I love that she had everything prepared and ready for us. We didn't have to want for nothing. We didn't need nothing. Everything was there, literally. I mean, the only thing we really went out for was something to eat. Microwave, refrigerator, the filtered water, because you definitely want to be drinking filtered water and not no faucet water. The heaters, like anything to keep you cozy and comfortable, baby, she had it. And she was very, very pleasant, very nice. She even gave recommendations, places to go, things to see, things to try, what she recommended for us, what she thought that wasn't the best. It was one of those type of planes where you have to get ringed in, and it is a language barrier with some of the people that sit at the front desk. So it was one guy, he would be at the front and literally trying to hold a full-blown conversation with me and trying to tell me, God still to this day don't know what the hell he was talking about. And I know y'all be like, oh, pull out the translate on him. And I have that downloaded offline and all, but for whatever reason, sometimes it gets to acting a little funky when we get out of town. It just depends. It's like a hit or miss with that. I was like, sir, I don't speak no Espanol. No habla Espanol, sir. Senorita. No, senor is senor, because senorita is the girl. Like, I'm trying to brush up on my Spanish a little bit. Overall, I really enjoyed that place. I wouldn't even have mind living in that place, like as like a regular renter or like homeowner, like that. I love that whole setup of style. I think I really did that because I was with someone. Had I been solo, I would never booked her. Everything in that home was new. As a matter of fact, some of the things were being replaced, and she asked us if it would be okay if we kind of dropped our things off and then left and came back, because she was changing out some things also. We had no problem, because baby, the newer the better for me anyway. When we were in Lima though, we were in a hotel. I, for the life of me, cannot remember what the hell the hotel was called, but I'll put it here on the screen. I loved everything about it because it was the purple aesthetic. I love purple. That's my favorite color. So walking in and seeing the purple shelves, purple this, purple that, I was like, ooh. Now that place was very nice as well, but this was actually a hotel. We had separate rooms, which I really liked. They were so inexpensive. I know for a fact the hotel was under $100 for about 2 or 3 nights, if I'm not mistaken. Like, really, really great pricing. You cannot beat it. And at first I was like, well, we can always share a room, but then when I realized how cheap it was, I was like, girl, I get my own room, you have your own room, we'll have our own space and we'll link up. And then the funny thing was, we was literally right across, we was in the cut like a cul-de-sac right across from each other. It was just me and her over there in that little corner. So it was really nice. Overall, it was pretty good, very nice, very clean. They had a little heater, but honey, that heater wasn't heating it. But thank God Lima was not as cold. It still was cold, but it wasn't as cold as Cusco was. Baby, when I tell you all it was a breath of fresh air, I was counting down the days, y'all. Counting down the days to return to Lima, from returning from Lima to returning home. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I had a great time. Like, I don't want to take that away from anything. I don't want anybody to feel like, oh, Lord. No, it's not that. It's just, there's no place like home. Let's talk about currency. So in Peru, their money is the soles. I do recommend exchanging money. Can you believe I actually exchange money? Normally if you watch any of my other travel videos, I normally say I didn't exchange, or I don't typically exchange, what have you. But when I seen how far my American dollar, okay, the US dollar can go, I most definitely had no issue with either paying with a sol or using my credit card because it has free foreign exchange rates. I know my homegirl got so tired of me. And I'm saying this because I feel like you definitely should download this on your phone. The Units app, where you could convert, the conversion app. I kept asking my homegirl, so how much that is in USD? So how much that is in USD? I know I was driving her nuts because I was driving my own self nuts, asking the question over and over and over again. I think for me, I didn't want to be surprised. I wanted to make sure that I'm staying within my, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to overdo it, but to my surprise, even when it was like 140, 400 and something, so I don't know, maybe I'm over exaggerating, but it still was not that expensive, if that makes any sense. So the most expensive item was my ticket and the excursions, which we are going to get to, but I definitely recommend exchanging. We did so at a local ATM. We were actually told by the locals that this was the best way to do so with the rates and so forth. I did get like a little charge. You know, you get charged. That's transaction fees and stuff like that. I feel like it was only $30 I took out because I remember my account sending an alert to my phone asking, was it me that took out this amount? And it said it in USD though. And I think it said $30 or $35 or something like that. And when I tell you that allowed me to get snacks, pay for, I was able to pay for a lot of different things. I really was. That damn $30 stretched, honey. Stretched like a damn rubber band. My whole plan to go to Peru, literally for eating. I am a huge foodie. So if I can go somewhere where the food is, baby, I'm going to pull up. Even if I got to get on the plane to get there. I don't know. They pulling up for that. I'm going to pull up. I'm going to be over here eating, stuffing my face. That's where I'm going to be at. You'll find me over here trying different delicates and whatnot. I'll put here on the screen some of the restaurants that we tried. We even went to a black Peruvian restaurant. Yes. And the food was, Lord have mercy. I still have dreams about that food. I ordered the goat, the curry goat. And I'm a curry girl anyway, so that was right up my alley, but it was really, really good. And I tried to try a lot of what they are known for. You know, I like to tap into the culture when I'm traveling. I don't want to go pull up to out of the country and eat in McDonald's because it seems like it's always a McDonald's everywhere you go, child. Burger King or what have you. No, ma'am, no, sir. I want to try what you eat. Go take me to where you go eat. We had one place that was literally like $3, $3 US. It started off with a salad. It had a soup. No, it had a soup, a drink, and then it had like a fish meal. So it was fish, rice, beans, a little salad on the side. $3? We found some really inexpensive places to eat. We went to some chicken place that's similar to like Pollo Tropical. The goat was pretty expensive because it was supposed to be more of an upscale restaurant. And then I also went to another upscale restaurant that was kind of like in the circle or the square or whatever the hell it was called. And it was a lot of people waiting to get up in there. So I knew the food had to be good. It was recommended to me by my taxi driver. So go ahead and ease into the excursions and talk about that experience. Whew. Okay, so which excursion did we do first? As a matter of fact, I still have my printout. We went through Lima. What's the name of it? Lima Experience. That's the name of the company that put all of our itinerary together. So if I'm looking down a lot, you'll know why, because I'm just trying to, you know what I'm saying, maintain the eye contact, okay? But I'm also trying to give y'all the tea. So bear with me. I actually paid $308 for my itinerary. I also want to mention that if you happen to go with this company and you go with like a group of people and everybody don't want to do the same thing, they can definitely create an itinerary specifically for your needs and what you like and your wants. And that's what I did. Like we pretty much did everything together except Machu Picchu. I know. I already know how you looking at me. Don't look at me like that. I already know. You are probably thinking, how in the whole hell can you pull up to Peru and not visit Machu Picchu? But let me tell you, I had no regrets not doing so. Not only was it pretty expensive, baby, it was over $200 and something just for that. I believe it was $295 alone, just for going to Machu Picchu with this route. I'm gonna get into the details of the whole Machu Picchu thing. I knew that I was not well equipped physically to handle Machu Picchu. If you know that you are someone who are not physically in tune, don't even pull up. There is no horses that you can ride. If you need some kind of way to get carried back, them people is little, so they damn sure can't pick you up. I asked so many questions when it came to the travel guide who put everything together for us in regards to Machu Picchu, because I wanted to be sure before I booked that spot if it was for me. And I'm gonna tell you, I did a bunch of homework. And so many people, if you don't believe me, go look, was talking about being physically fit. I remember one girl even said that she had to train. What in the U.S. Army training is going on here? That definitely let me know all I needed to know. I do want to say that there's different circuits. How I know and I didn't go, because I spoke with the guy. Remember I just said I asked him so many questions. And he was just kind of telling me that there's circuit 1, circuit 2, circuit 3. The differences between the circuits is basically what you're going to be able to see. He said that, I believe it was 2 or 3 that was a little bit less intensive. Number 1 was supposed to be the most, or is it 1 and 2? And then 3 is the least. I don't know. I just know that by the time I finally made my decision, because you have to buy tickets far in advance, he would tell me on a regular, like, if you're going to, go ahead and let me know, because the tickets are selling fast. The tickets are selling fast. He kept stressing that. Me and her wouldn't even be able to take the same route anymore because her circuit was full. I believe she took circuit 1. She said that it wasn't as bad, but she did say that she did have to catch her breath a few times. It was definitely one for the week. There's different ways to get there and different pricing. Like some people hike, some people spend the night. There's no way. I know that she was picked up, or we would have been picked up 4 a.m. in the morning, like 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 or something like that. You'll be transferred to the railway station. And then you get on the train to Aguascalientes. And when you get there, you'll board a bus to go up and up and up and up to the Machu Picchu. And then your expert guide will walk with you through the main streets. And I want to add that the $295 was actually a private tour. Now, what happened with Lima Experience, the driver did not reach out or was not there to pick her up at 4 o'clock. She texted, she called, there was no responses. And it's so early in the morning, so the company is not even open. And he finally texts, but they have it where it's a set time. So you need to be to the station to get on your train ticket. She had a ticket that had a certain time. And then from that point, you got to get on the bus, and the bus had a certain ticket. Like you got to follow, you got to follow. And if you kind of get thrown off by one, you're going to be thrown off by the entire journey. And So he finally texted, and do you know his excuse was he overslept? There was no sorry, there was no, and from what we heard, he was fired. Now, while we don't want nobody to lose their job, sir, why are you playing with people? That is how she ended up on the luxury train. So kudos to that child, because they made up for what the mishap. They had only one seat left, and it included food, drinks. She said they was partying on that train, like not her, but the people. She said she was tired as hell. The $2.95 that she paid was for the, I guess, more basic ways to get there. They had duck and all these iguanas and all this. What they eat over there? Guinea pig. Roasted guinea pig, child. They couldn't get me to eat it, though. They couldn't get me to eat it. I say that for you. I did like that they fixed the situation, but it was a nightmare to begin with. And her main focus and her main goal was to get to Peru to go to Machu Picchu. So she was like, there's no way I'm going to be here in Peru and don't go to Machu Picchu. That wasn't in my plans, but she wanted that for her, and I wanted it for her, because what the hell? She did come back with some amazing pictures, all with the alpacas. She did mention, like I stated earlier, that it was not as cold up there. She actually felt like she overdressed, and her pictures was breathtaking. Did it still make me feel like I missed out? So the price that I mentioned earlier included our rides, our transportation. So from the airport to the airport, and then for our excursions, those rides. It also included, which I selected, the Sacred Valley tour. And I actually opted to do a ATV tour on this, instead of like a walkthrough or ride through or what have you. I don't know what it is about me and these ATV tours, but I really like them. So they picked me up from Cusco at my Airbnb. It was very early, but not as early as hers. I think mine was a pickup time like 7:15 or something like that. So we got picked up on like a 15-passenger van. We drove a few hours. Yes, child, it was one of those types of excursions. Or maybe it was an hour. I feel like it was 2. This is where we were provided with the lessons for the ATV. So we ATV to the Moray, which is the Incas Agricultural Laboratory. We were able to see the beautiful landscapes and stop by some really scenic and famous spots where people, like, you know, what they're known for in Peru, and took pictures. Baby, when I tell you all that sand was sanding, when we got off, we was damn dusty, honey. I had a brown coat on, and it wasn't even brown no more, baby. It wasn't even brown no more. You know, on the chalkboard, when you do all that and you go on the eraser and all that, just dust and debris. That's how we look, child. But it was really, really fun. From that point, once we returned, we visited the salt flats of Moray, and we did that by loading a bus and then traveling a little further to that point. Baby, let me tell you like this. I did not make it right down into the salt. I didn't make it right down to the salt. Ain't no way. Those steps were lethal. I don't go on vacation to get a workout in. That's just me personally. So when I start seeing like, oh, hell no, this going to be a trek going down. There's going to be a trek getting my ass back up. Let me just stay right here. And luckily, the whole environment, you're able to get the views of the salt flats wherever you're standing. And then when you first enter, they're selling different like little ice pops and you know, little things that they're known for, their ice creams and things like that. And then they have like a little area where you can buy like little trinkets and souvenirs and so forth. And then you go down and dirty. That's where you get down there to the salt flats. And you can go down, it's a bunch of steps, and you can go. And then they was playing like this nice little music, like the relaxing, almost like spa-like music. Once we finished checking out the salt flats, we were bused back to our starting point. Well, to the city, or was that the square or the circle or the plaza? It was the plaza. And then I would have a taxi driver pick me up from the plaza and take me back to my actual Airbnb. And that's where I was able to meet one of the taxi drivers, who was very, very nice. He didn't speak a lick of English, but baby, when I tell you we was transferring back and forth on his phone, you would have thought we was friends. Like how I'm talking to you and you understanding me, that's how we was going back and forth with each other. And I really liked that. And then he also recommended some food spots. So then he dropped me off. I got ready, went and took a bath, shower, got dressed, and then he took me back out and then picked me up. Kind of took me around and showed me some of the landmarks. It was really, really nice. And then I ended up back. I tried to make it back by dark. Then we had 2 nights in Cusco. One of those days we did a cooking class. One thing about me, I'm gonna always pull up to a cooking class out of the country. I just love it. I love this one in particular because we were the only 2 there, so it almost felt like it was private. The others canceled. They was very sick from the altitude, according to the chef. So it wasn't just me. Before we started cooking, he would take you into the market and you would go and pick out some fresh fruits, their fruits, different fresh garnishes and things like that that's needed to prep to cook. I love that you was able to actually go out there and hand pick, like be hands-on with what you're going to eat. We were giving options on what we wanted to cook. Of course, this is where I tried the ceviche and it was okay. We tried, it was a known drink there. Pisco wine, I think that's what it's called and it's famous for. We were able to try some of that, make a little pisco drink. We was in the kitchen. And the chef was really, really nice. He was very pleasant. We had a really great experience. And it just added to it with it being private for me. And then it was time for us to return back to Lima. I do want to mention this. There was not a lot of beggars, and it was not a lot. Like every now and again, we would experience it in the plaza where people see you don't have on no shades. They're like, oh, we got glasses for you. Or they see that you may be cold or something, they'll offer you something. Like it was something like that. But if you said no gracias, it was fine. There was no harassment. Praise God. There was no harassment from the people there. Then we made our way back to Lima and we had booked the Paracas and Huacachina or something like that full day experience. And baby, when they said full day, they ain't never lied. So basically how it started was that we got picked up from our hotel very, very early in the morning. I believe that was like 4 something in the morning. Tell me how that's a vacation without telling me that's not a vacation. Like I like to sleep in, baby, but it was worth it. So they pick you up early in the morning and then you meet at this area where you all load like the Greyhound style bus. And that's when we met Aaron. I believe his name was Aaron. He was so wonderful. Like he was so sweet and fun and just a breath of fresh air. Like any questions you had, he never left us out, you know, because we were the only Black people. And you know, for me that matters, okay? Yeah, I pay attention to stuff like that. So we were the only Blacks on the bus and things like that. But he never like didn't include us. So we had to drive for 3 hours. 1, 2, 3. That's right. 3 hours to the stop in Paracas for breakfast. Then from that point, we would load a boat for 2 hours to the Balastas Islands, which are famous for its rock formation and wild marine life, like penguins, sea lions, and pelicans. The views out there were spectacular, but baby, it was cold. I done went there and was being fast, thinking, because Machu Picchu wasn't that cold. I'm thinking, okay, well, this ain't gonna be that cold. And I thought like the old man Jump, honey. It was cold as hell. And then imagine in a boat with all that wind hitting your face. They did have like a little area where you could be able to pick up like mittens, hats, ponchos, and all these different things. But I was not about to rebuy what I already had. Like I just had to make do with what I had. But baby, it was cold. It was cold. And you had to pay to use the bathroom here. I believe it was $1 or something like that. I wasn't expecting to see penguins. They were so damn small. I didn't realize that penguins was that damn small unless it's the Peru penguins. I'm not sure, but they were small as hell. I imagined them to be big as hell. And that wasn't the case, but they were so cute. It was so cute. And the sea lions was laying there minding their own business. It was just a nice scenic environment. And then from that point, we loaded the bus again. And I can't remember how long we drove, but then we ended up for lunch at the Pisco Vineyard. And this is where we also did a wine tasting. So basically they give you the background of how Pisco is made, which is their famous drink. And then you have the tasting and then you go for lunch. Now the lunch there was nothing to call home about, y'all. I don't even want to talk about it for too long. I don't even want to give my energy into that lunch because I was big mad. I should have selected something else. It wasn't the best. From that point, we loaded the bus and we drove to Huacachina. I don't know if I'm saying it right. So when you arrived there, we was given 1 hour to kind of explore And it was really nice. To me, it reminded me of being on a resort. And I remember some of the people on our bus actually stayed behind. So not everybody who came with us left with us. They stayed overnight or a few days at that hotel, at that location. When it came to adrenaline pumping, adventurous, and things like that, this has happened to be my most adventurous thing I've done on vacation. And I really enjoyed it. From that point, we have to take this long trek. This long incline trek up a hill that's sand. Guess who didn't almost make it? By the way I'm looking, I guess you can realize you already know who it was that almost passed the hell out and needed oxygen out of. Me. Have you ever ran at the beach in the sand? Have you ever went up a hill that was sandy? You battling your feet sinking into the... All you heard was... I was stopping. I told him, I'm not going. He's, yes, you are. Aaron, I hope his name Aaron, because I keep seeing Aaron. Aaron was the bomb.com Lima experience he need a raise. That man there, he was like, listen, I'm the tour guide. And they got to wait on me. I was like, but I don't want to hold people up. I'm going to take forever. Everybody going up. So I kept telling him, well, go ahead. It's okay. You can go ahead. He's like, nope, I'm staying right here. He held my jacket. He held my belongings. I was so grateful for him. There's no way. If it was not for him as the instructor, I would not have made it up to enjoy the dune buggies in the desert. He coached me. We stopped. We drank water. It was people along the sidelines that were giving out water. Baby, you need water. And when I tell you, when I got to the top, it wasn't just me. Everybody, you see everybody up there either had their hand on their hip, hand on their head, breathing hard. But baby, when you get up there, it's breathtaking. It's gorgeous. It's everything. We hopped on a dune buggy for 2 hours and did an adrenaline like ride. We would go up and down and up and turn around and all these different things. And baby, when I tell you it was nothing but screams, thank God I wore a wig and had it down, attached, you know, actually glued down, because baby, that thing would have went flying off. Don't even go with the big ass lashes, girl. They gonna be all the way. Don't go looking like, what's his name, Effa or whoever from Sesame Street, because baby, them lashes will be gone with the wind. You can take really great pictures up there. Practice sandboarding. I watch people sandboard. Really slide down and sandboard. Like, that's something that it was off limits for me. Ain't no damn way. And then if you slide down and you want to do it again, you got to go back up the incline. Baby, I almost didn't make it the first time. What the hell make you think I'm about to go back down and come back up? Oh no. I said, oh no, I'll pass on that one. I lived through y'all. Then afterwards, we sat back and watched the sunset before we left. That was really a highlight. Some of those pictures that came out with the sunset was really sunsetting. The pictures was picturing. I had a really great time. I would do it all again, but somebody gonna have to carry me up the hill, because I ain't gonna be able to make it. And then the thing is, I kept asking them, like, what's the levels? And I was asking that even with Machu Picchu. What is the levels of walking up these hills and things? They would say medium to light to medium. It's nothing light and medium. Stop lying to people, because y'all do this on an everyday basis, and this is what y'all do as travel guides and things like that. Y'all are inclined to, like, y'all are familiar with that. Y'all body is just cut out for this. People like us, you see how people be looking from America. A lot of us is out of shape, out of whack. Don't sit there and lie. Don't sit there and lie. So I'm here to tell you, the struggle is real, but it's worth it. Let me tell you, it ain't no easier going back down. Baby, I got footage. She got footage of me rolling down the hill. I was rolling. I was okay with going down because, baby, look. And then by the time I made it down, my shoes was filled with sand. Filled with sand. Another great activity to do is the tour of Lima, where you go visit the different marketplaces, and then you're able to try foods hands-on. All of these excursions was really, really great. And I also feel like it was worth the price. For the most part, Lima experience, it was a hit or miss. It just depends. I had a discrepancy with the time frame of one of my Excursions, and I was asking for a refund, and they kind of didn't want to give me the refund, even though we both saw that there was a discrepancy with the time. It was, it was a hit or miss. It was a hit or miss with that company and who you come encounter with. But I do know that they're a little bit pricier than others. So if you can find a better deal with other people that's pretty good as well, then book with them. You ain't gotta go home, but you gotta get the hell from out of Peru. It was time for me to go back home, and I actually took a flight. My return flight was also on Latam, which was really great because I was able to get a lot of sleep in. Everything was really, really great for the most part. Like, I really enjoyed myself, but baby, the distances to get to different things, the treks to get to different things, baby, this is definitely an adventurous type of trip. I want to also mention there was no paperwork that had to be filled out, so I was really happy about that because this was the first time I ever went internationally when I didn't have to fill out no type of forms for entry or returning. And I also had a little issue when I returned back home into the Miami airport, honey. The Border Patrol child was really patrolling. Soon as I got off the plane, I had this police to come and ask me, where were you coming from? What made you go there? I mean, he was literally questioning me down. Then he asked me, did I go with somebody? And I said, well, yeah, but we coming back on different time frames because me and her did not return on the same days. He was wondering why. Why is it that you guys didn't come home together? Like, I'm just like, sir. And then I felt like he was kind of low-key following me, and I didn't want him to go with me through customs because I don't trust people. I didn't want him to put nothing on me. Thank God I had global entry, so I didn't have to wait in no line. I went in and out so quickly through the airport, but that was really iffy. He really left a bad taste in my mouth when it came to the questions that he was asking. Thank you so much for tuning in to this long video. It's actually raining, it's thundering. I'm sure the lightning coming as well, so I need to get the hell on up out of here. But if I left anything out, because I hate to kind of like end it so abruptly like this, child, go ahead and come into my comment section and ask the questions. I literally talk back. Make sure you thumbs up this video so that this video can reach its audience. If you made it to the end of this video, make sure you drop this emoji down in the comment section. That's how I know it's real. I want to thank you so very much for taking the time out to watch my video. Until next time, later.